Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
Welcome to the Nowhere Cafe. Can I get you a drink to start?
Coffee'd be great. It says on the menu to ask for the Wi-Fi.
It actually says ask about our Wi-Fries. We like to have fun.
Download the Odyssey app today and stream KDAWN anytime, anywhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM. It is the talk of Las Vegas. Very excited to have you with us today. It is the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment, and wow, we are loaded to the gills. Speaking of gills, we're going to be talking about somebody we lost today, but some memories for me on that. I got to bring in a guy along for the ride with me today. Let's get him on the live stream. Jason Halperin is back in the house with us today. Jason, what's going on?
I'm doing good, Mark. How you doing today?
I'm conscious. I'm conscious.
Good start.
Man, I'll tell you. Crazy couple of days for me is, man, this show came together quick.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Oh, man, I'm excited because we have two very special guests coming up on our show. Are you ready?
Absolutely. Let's hit me with it.
Are you ready? This is unreal. So hour number one, we're going to be hearing from ad-free shows, of course. You know that they have that unbelievable network of shows like 8 Weeks with Eric Bischoff and The Orange Show and Jeff Jarrett's show and just Kurt Angle, Ric Flair, all those guys are on that podcasting network. Coach Rosie, Josh Rosenbaum, is in New York. He's in Times Square. So we're going to get to hear from him in just a few minutes. We're going to talk a little Forbidden Door. He's heading over there. Making the trip to Long Island. So we're going to give him a call and get him on, talk to him about his thoughts about what's going to be happening over there for Forbidden Door today. And we'll be talking about that later in the show. And in hour number two, I am so ridiculously honored that we're going to be joined by one of the people who I think it's very underrated, his place in professional wrestling history. And when you do the research, this guy has been at some of those pivotal moments in this industry. It's unreal. And of course, he is the head of the board for the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame out in Waterloo, Iowa. And they're going to be having their 25th anniversary induction ceremonies coming up July 18th through the 20th. So you need to get your butts out there and check it out. But Gerald Brisco is going to be on the show.
Wow.
So very excited to have Gerald Brisco joining us in hour number two. So what can you say? This is going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a great show.
Yeah, can't wait. So very excited to have two terrific guests joining us here on the Mark Hoke Show on KDAWN. And if you're listening to us on KDAWN or that Odyssey app, you haven't downloaded it, get it because it'll come in handy. You may be on the road sometime and say, gosh darn it, I want to listen to the Mark Hoke Show, but I'm in the car or, I'm stuck on some desert island or something. And what do I do? I can't listen to KDAWN. Well, you download the Odyssey app, listen to us. That'd be good. And of course, also we are live streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X. So if you would take a second, subscribe, that's a great way to do it. Then you never miss anything that we post, like that Joe Hendry post that I put up that blew up. I mean, Joe Hendry, he's
that one did blow up. That
one blew up because Joe Hendry is just so hot right now. But yeah, so we're just having a great time and appreciate everybody in the live stream. If you have any thoughts, questions, anything you want to throw at us, feel free to hop in that chat box and say hi. We would appreciate it. But yep, Coach Rosie coming up in a little bit, and Gerald Brisco joining us here on the Mark Hoke Show. But before we get to Coach Rosie coming up, we want to pay our respects. Now, this one, I definitely will put my finger up in the air. But for the original bloodline, I don't know about this second little crew, but we lost Liati Sika and Hawaii this week. And of course, you know him as Sika from the Wild Samoans, the reference to the fish, because, of course, he and Afa were pretty darn good at eating raw fish in the ring. But
they were good at a lot of other stuff in the ring, too.
Oh, man, I'll tell you. When I first started watching wrestling, the Samoans had just lost the tag team titles in WWF to Rocky Johnson and Tony Atlas. And I got to experience, what they did in the ring. Had their couple of runs in WWE and were kind of getting around all over the place. And, and Sika got to do some single stuff too. But, certainly, one of my first cards, I got to see the Samoans out at Hershey Park in the Hershey Park Arena, and just absolutely enjoyed them to death. I mean, they were, some scary dudes, to say the least, but one of the most underrated tag teams of all time. And it amazes when people don't talk about the greatest tag teams of all time. The Samoans' names don't come up as much as they probably should, but they were absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and that's really surprising they don't talk about it. I mean, they held over 20 tag team championships throughout their career, throughout the career and throughout the world. I mean, that's an amazing number.
Yeah. And and I think one thing that, when you talk about Sika and what the Samoans did, one impact that I think that you can't forget with them is not just what they did in the ring, but what they did outside of it and the influence that they've had on pro wrestling. I remember when I was about 16, 17 years old, and you'd see the ad for the Samoan school out in Allentown, Pennsylvania. You're a Pittsburgh guy.
Absolutely. I remember that.
So you might remember seeing some of those too. A little younger than me, but man, it's one of the biggest regrets I have in my life. It was 2 hours away, and I was so tempted, but my parents would have killed me. They would have killed me if I'd have driven over there. But they have trained so many great professional wrestlers over the year, and obviously the family as well. But we had Ace Austin on the show, and he trained at that school and gave us a little insight into what they did and how much influence that they had in the industry. And it's really sad to with Sika being gone, and of course he is the father of Roman Reigns, and he and Roman got to have that incredible moment when Sika put the lay on him.
Yeah, that was a great moment. I mean, that was a great father-son moment. I mean, awesome for fans, but even better for the two of them.
Yeah. And so we say goodbye to Sika, and wish the NY family and the whole clan our condolences and the best in a tough time, and I'm sure they miss him terribly. So as does everybody in professional wrestling. So just wanted to take time to say goodbye to Sika.
Yes, little homage to him there.
Yeah, we have to grab some sushi today.
We're just not eating it live on camera, though.
Not on camera, no. But of course, just to lead in before we get to our guest in the next segment, of course, we have the Bloodline 2.0, and the kids are not being good.
No,
they are not. And they decked Paul Heyman for not acknowledging Solo as the new tribal chief. And Paul Heyman takes a couple of nasty bumps. That table bump, by the way, did not look good. He kind of bounced off a little bit, and
yeah, it looks like they kind of missed on that one, but hopefully he really is okay. Hopefully,
yeah,
because it did look a little nasty.
But now we are setting up an eventual return for Roman Reigns here, because the wise man took a beating, and this should be very entertaining to see what happens, because these four guys are very formidable in the ring. And I've been a huge Jacob Fatu fan for a long time, and obviously everybody around here in Vegas knows Solo. Of course, he wrestled here and trained at Future Stars of Wrestling, and of course the Guerrillas of Destiny. This is going to be very a very interesting decision to see how they pull this back together, because obviously Roman's going to need a little help on this one.
Yeah, I'm real curious to see how they're going to do this. Because obviously they have a couple different angles they can use on this one. To really do it. You still have the Usos that are sitting there that can obviously go back with Roman Reigns. I don't know if they're going to want to pull Jay back in, but obviously Jimmy is one that can definitely go back in. His return is going to be coming soon. You also have the other guys that can go and defend Paul Heyman. You got guys like CM Punk. You got guys like Brock Lesnar. Is it that time to bring Lesnar back? Are you going to pull Punk away from the whole Drew McIntyre thing right now? I mean, there's a lot of things you can go with this one. Do you possibly see a kind of a Shield reunion? Do you see a Seth Rollins come over to help Roman Reigns on this one? It's pretty interesting on where they could go with this one.
Yeah. Got a whole ECW roster out there too. So
that's very true.
Yeah, there's some interesting possibilities coming flying around there. So we will check it out and see how this all turns out. But we could be getting Roman Reigns coming back at SummerSlam here pretty shortly. So hold on to your hats, kids. But man, I'll tell you, this new Bloodline group, highly athletic, powerful. They're going to be something to watch. It's going to be a lot of fun to see how all this comes down, and just what these guys are going to be able to do is going to be sensational. And man, Roman better get a little extra time in the weight room because I'll tell you what, the minute he steps in the ring, especially with Jacob, I mean, is going to be absolutely fantastic. So
yeah,
cannot wait. It's going to be a blast. And I'll tell you what, let's get our break in because we want to get Coach Rosie on the show here. So let's hit it. And when we come back, oh man, it's going to be fun. A live report from Times Square. Can you believe it? That's going to be a blast.
That absolutely is.
Josh Rosenbaum, Coach Rosie is going to be coming on the show. So stick around, everybody. We've got a whole lot more. And Gerald Brisco later on in hour number 2. So stick around, everybody. We'll be right back.
Retired or retiring soon? How much money do you need to live comfortably? Retirement Planners of America is here for you. Would you like to have financial peace of mind? Here's how. Step 1, find out the amount of money you'll need to retire. Step 2, have a plan to get there. Step 3, make sure that plan can take advantage of market gains but protect you from market losses. Discover how to do all 3 with a free consultation at 800-508-6108. That's 800-508-6108.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results.
Because you want to hear bacon and eggs on your outdoor griddle, not the scraping of rust. Introducing the Weber Slate Rust-Resistant Griddle. Stays ready, not rusty, with a carbon steel cooktop, pre-seasoned and ready to cook on right out of the box. The Weber Slate heats evenly edge to edge up to 500 degrees. All you'll hear is the gasp of amazement from friends and family when you serve the food. Cooking with the Weber Slate Rust-Resistant Griddle just sounds delicious and tastes even better.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-761-0000, 800-761-0000, 800-761-0000.
Unsafe sleep conditions cause serious injury and even death to infants. Never sleep with your baby on a sofa, in a chair, or in an adult bed. Protect the baby you love from becoming a tragic statistic. The only safe place for your baby to sleep is alone on its back. in a crib, and in your room. For more information, visit cribsforkids.org. That's cribsforkids.org. This message is sponsored by the Division of Public and Behavioral Health, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey Nevadans, prescriptions can be expensive. Let the Array RX discount card be your solution. Now available to all Nevada residents. Simply sign up for free. Show your pharmacist your digital card and save money. Receive discounts of up to 80% on certain medications. There are no age or income restrictions, and it only takes a minute to enroll, so you can get back to doing what makes you happy.
This message funded by a grant through the Nevada Department of Health and Human Services, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
1015 FM KDAWN.
This is the Mark Hoke Show.
The Mark Hoke Show.
Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
All right, let's get back to it. Hour number 1 continues of the Mark Hoke Show. We're just going to have an unbelievable day today. Of course, Gerald Brisco coming on in hour number 2. But, of course, we need to get our guest who's coming to us live from Times Square. This is a new one for the Mark Hoke Show. Can't wait. Coach Rosie is Jeff Rosenbaum from Ad Free Shows. And, of course, if you haven't subscribed to Ad Free Shows, I don't know why you haven't. I mean, unbelievable podcast with like something to wrestle in 83 weeks, My World with Jeff Jarrett, Grill and JR. I mean, all these unbelievable personalities from pro wrestling. All you got to do is go to Ad Free Shows and check it out. You know, minimum like $7.20 a month. I mean, this is super cheap for all you get. It's unreal. So let's get Coach Rosie on the show. How are you doing, Josh? Good to talk to you, my friend.
Man, it's great to talk to you guys as well. New York is lively. This city is all about pro wrestling. SmackDown started it off Friday, and boy, we're going to have a banger tonight with Forbidden Door. I'm really excited to be in New York and see a show that really brings the wrestling community together with guys from Japan, from Mexico, from Australia, from Europe. It's truly a World Cup of professional wrestling.
Yeah, that's one thing that has been unbelievable that's been happening in pro wrestling lately. And, I think, you got to give a lot of credit to Tony Khan for starting to, pull all these companies together. Of course, the Forbidden Door concept with New Japan, and now is just bringing everybody in. I swear to God, we're going to have those guys from Uganda coming in here too at any point. I mean, this is just an incredible card tonight. What's got you most excited about this one this evening, Josh?
I can't wait to see Swerve fight Will Ospreay. I mean, if you can't get excited for that match, that's obviously number one. But number two would be to see some of the heroes that I've followed from New Japan Pro Wrestling for years and years, and to actually see them live and uncut, if you will. Man, I can't believe it, because to see, Okada and Tanahashi and all those guys and the guys from CMLL, it's just going to be an amazing experience, because I'm going to be able to be with the wrestling family and really soak in everybody's culture, because wrestling is so different all over the world, and styles and the ways that they cheer. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, this is going to be an outstanding card tonight. A lot of matches, that's for sure. You guys, we're all going to be watching a lot of wrestling tonight before this is all said and done. But yeah, that main event should be absolutely incredible. And I know Jason, you're pretty pumped up tonight about Mox and Naito. I mean, that is going to be a hell of a match.
Definitely looking forward to that one.
Yeah, Coach, what do you think? What do you think about that one tonight? That should be exciting.
Yeah, and I think Naito's going to go over on Moxley. I mean, that's just my prediction. And, to see him win back the championship, it's going to be hard hitting. It's going to be hardcore. It's going to be physical, strong style. And it's going to be something that we don't usually see here in the States. And I'm going to celebrate the experience, because what I've seen from the Japanese wrestlers is amazing. Just the way that they hit and kick and execute their moves. It really is a fine science that they wrestle with.
Yeah, and of course, you're one of the lucky guys, because you're getting to hang out with Conrad Thompson and Jeff Jarrett and all these guys. Now you get to see a little bit more than the average fan, shall we say. What is the experience like, of course, with your association with ad-free shows, when you get to go to one of these events as opposed to the average fan? I mean, it's got to be a thrill for you to be around all these guys and and see what you get to see?
Well, I'm 50 years old, and anytime I get a text from any wrestler, it could be the Brooklyn Brawler, my heart skips a beat. I would never have thought that I would be in the position that I am today. I'm living out a childhood dream. It's become a reality, and all of these wrestlers are just regular guys, and to be able to experience life with them and then see them perform their craft it's amazing to me. I have to sometimes restrict myself from marking out, and with practice, it's come. But there's still that little kid inside of me that lights up whenever I get to interact with any of those guys.
I know that is a problem that I have too. I'm still adjusting to it. Like, and of course you were instrumental in helping us get Gerald Brisco on the show today. And the Briscoes were just one of my favorite tag teams, and of course they go way back before that too. And getting to talk to Gerald today is going to be a thrill and a half. And I'm going to try and keep myself under control for that one. That's going to be absolutely incredible. And I know Jason and I were talking about it before the show got started today, that just the history of Gerald Brisco in professional wrestling is incredible too. And it's just so much. It is amazing getting to talk to these guys and be around them. I sometimes don't even know what to say. See, I'm getting flustered right now even thinking about it.
Well, Mr. Brisco, he's an amazing guy. I'm a teacher. That's my shoot job. I've been a high school teacher for 28 years. And Mr. Brisco has been recommending books that I've been having the students read in class about Native American history and wrestling. I mean, he's a true Renaissance man. And he's got such an integral part of the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame over there in Waterloo that I've become a lifetime member. I'll be in Waterloo this upcoming month at the end of the month in July. I believe it's the 18th through the 20th. And just to be able to celebrate our sport from where we were maybe 10, 11 years ago to where we are now, it's heartwarming to see that pro wrestling is back and that pro wrestling is part of our culture again, that pro wrestling is talked about in the lunchrooms, that kids are smiling again with pro wrestling. It's the way it should be, because pro wrestling is a microcosm of life. You got heroes, you got enemies, you got people overcoming stuff, you got people cheating, lying, stealing. I mean, it's got it all, and it's awesome.
Now, I'm sure you guys over there at Ad Free, with everything that's been going on with this Who Killed WCW series, that things are heating up just a tad right now with all these people coming out with the interviews and the show and the talk about WCW again. I can only imagine what's happening with all of you, especially with Eric Bischoff and his show. What's been going on over there with this series now just wrapping up, that I'm sure the interview requests and the talk over there and the bringing back of all the memories has been very entertaining, to say the least.
It's been so entertaining for Eric that he started his own personal show that is called Wise Choices, where he just comes on YouTube live. It could be at 8 o'clock at night. It could be at 7 o'clock in the morning. You never know when Eric gets a wild hair. He jumps on YouTube and takes questions from the fans. He loves interacting with the fans. And most especially, he likes debunking the facts that sometimes are not facts, that are opinions. Eric is very strong-minded. And when Eric heard that The Rock had him on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling guys, this melted Eric's heart. And when you saw Eric in the show, when Nash paid his compliment to him at the end of the show, Eric is finally getting the flowers that he has deserved for years and years. And now people can finally realize that the death of WCW had zero to do with Eric Bischoff and had so much to do with all the extraneous situations that were in the background. He loved WCW. He built WCW, and he wanted to continue WCW, but for one reason or another, it didn't happen. But WCW is in his blood.
Yeah, that is. It's been a very interesting series to see with Eric in the middle of it. And man, it's the reaction that's been coming out, on either side of these issues has been, to say the least, fun. It's certainly given us a lot to talk about. That is for sure. Well, Coach, I know you got to get rolling here. I know you're busy getting ready for everything going on with Forbidden Door tonight, but I want to thank you for everything you've done for me already. And I hope you have a great time. It's going to be an awesome night over there on Long Island, and I wish you all the best, having a blast over there. Taking in Forbidden Door. It should be an awesome evening.
Hey, it's just the beginning of a tremendous year that has amazing events, and I can't wait to hang out with you guys in Vegas for WrestleMania. It's going to be an amazing event. You guys have the best show in Vegas. You promote the sport. You give it love in Vegas. Vegas is a great wrestling town. For all of you, for the people that say that wrestling in Vegas isn't great, come to a show. The fans come out in droves. They support wrestling, and WrestleMania and the 19th and 20th of April is going to be the culmination, and Vegas is going to show out, and they're going to see what an amazing town Vegas is for wrestling.
Yeah, and what I think we'll do? We'll just have all the ad-free guys come in here, and we'll all just take over the Odyssey studios, and you guys can go station to station, and we'll just have everybody sit in here all day long. Jason, I think that's a good idea.
Absolutely. I mean, we have the room. Come on in.
Yeah, just bring the whole team.
Well, I'll definitely pass that message along to Conrad and the guys, and I know they're excited to be working with you, and you're going to put us with some good people, and it's going to be an amazing, because in wrestling, another beautiful thing is we all help each other, which doesn't happen very much in this world. We don't care what you like, what you do. As long as you love pro wrestling, we'll always stick a hand out for you, because that's what wrestling's all about.
You bet. You bet. Well, Coach, I hope you have a great time today. I want to thank you for coming on the show, and we'll definitely hear from you a lot more. I'm sure you'll be a frequent guest here on the Mark Hoke Show as we move forward. But hey, have a great time in New York City, man, and enjoy Times Square, and have a blast at Forbidden Door tonight, my friend.
Thanks, Mark. It was nice meeting you, Jason.
Hey, take care, Coach.
Yep.
Always
Bye
pleasure.
now.
All right, there you go. Coach Rosie, Josh Rosenbaum, joined us here on the Mark Hoke Show. And yeah, that was a lot of fun. Man, this is what we do on this show.
Yeah, just getting people on, letting them talk, and really bringing out their experiences in the wrestling industry.
Yeah, it has been. We've been doing the show. It's been a little over 3 years. Yeah, we're coming up on the. We're getting near the 3-year anniversary. I think
anniversary coming up.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, this is show 176 ish. Yeah.
Something
Well,
around
it
there.
is. It's show 176. I've been keeping track, but it's been so much fun from where we've started to where finished, or where we're at right now, and it's just continuing. And now WrestleMania coming, man. I'll tell you what a great time, and
The culmination for the show.
yeah, just keep it rolling. Keeping it rolling. But yeah, we are really enjoying ourselves here on the Mark Hoke Show. And man, Gerald Brisco is going to be on the show.
You know what they need to do when they have you need to get the Mark Hoke Show down at Allegiant during WrestleMania, during that week, or that lead up week. Kind of like when the Super Bowl was in here, they had Radio Row. You need to get the Mark Hoke Show down there, get it involved in everything.
That would be fun. Yeah, I know we're going to be involved down on at the convention center, from what I understand. So
no, but I'm saying actually get you down at Allegiant.
Oh, I'll be down there.
Let's get you down at Allegiant. Let's see if we can get you a table. Get you ringside. That's where the Mark
ringside.
Hoke Show, that's where the Mark Hoke Show needs to be. You need to be right there at ringside. Come on.
Oh, I probably have to wrestle somebody for that. I think Triple H would. I don't know if he'd go for that.
We can make a couple phone calls. You never know.
Well, I'm friends with Shawn Michaels now.
There you go.
So that
Let's
helps.
make a couple phone calls.
Yeah.
I'm sure we can get it done.
Oh, I'm sure WWE publicity would just jump at that. They'd be like, "Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
sure,
Come on.
sure, yeah."
Number
right.
one in the time slot. Come on. You got to get them on.
Oh, but it is exciting. Yeah. And, and overall the pro wrestling community, Coach said it right. I mean, everybody realizes that we're all trying to do one thing, and that's grow the industry. And if you're not in it to grow the industry, what are you doing there? you know,
Exactly.
and we talked about the passing of Sika, and one thing that a lot of people that are in it do is that they want to keep it growing and they want to keep it moving forward. And if you if you're not there to if they're just kind of be like a bunch of locusts and come and eat and leave, you're not doing the right thing by it. I mean, I think part of what you and I are talking wrestling history, and one thing that I like to talk about it too is because I want people to understand not just what's happening now, but what's happened in the past, where it's going, because I think it's important to understand about what has come before here. I mean, these guys that wrestled, even back in the 40s and 50s, and you can go back to Hammerschmidt and Gotch, in those days, and we might even mention that a little bit with Gerald. I mean, today that it's important to understand all that and know that history, and that's something that I just eat up. When I first started learning about professional wrestling when I was a kid, I studied all that stuff. I learned. I picked up at first PWI, and man, I was off to the races. I was off to the races, man. I'm digging up those books and I'm learning about Bruno and I'm learning about the Funks and the Briscoes and Luthez and all these guys because I wanted to learn about it. It's like any other sport that you care about. You want to understand not just what's happening there, but who came before and know all about it. So it's important. It really is.
Absolutely. If not for those founding fathers, so to speak, the industry wouldn't be where it is today. You have to pay homage. You have to learn about it. You have to keep bringing it up. You have to keep it alive. From stuff going back, like you said, from Bruno in the 60s and 70s, all the way through, the turn into the 80s, where you started to have, quote unquote, that was the golden age, then into the Attitude Era. The people today have to keep those memories alive from the older generations of wrestling, because that's where it all was born. I mean, today, everyone watching it, you're seeing it on you're seeing it live on TV, you're seeing it on national networks. It wasn't like that when you and I started watching it. It
No.
wasn't. It was all regional. It was all, you were lucky. You're getting up Saturday morning. That's the only time you really got to see it.
Yeah,
And it was depending on your region.
Yeah, I was very fortunate because cable had just started to get rolling. And in between that and syndication, I was very lucky that my local station, one of my local stations on, I still remember Channel 43, WPMT, started picking up World Class. And then the cable stations like Home Team Sports out in I don't know if you remember them or not. They eventually, I don't know if they became Masson or they just dropped out, but they started picking up Mid-South a little bit, but they had Florida Championship Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And, so the Mid-Atlantic came on WPMT. And so I got to see all of these people that I was reading about in the magazines. And it was just awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I was very lucky that, Channel 43 understood how with seeing all these ratings come in for pro wrestling. It was like, oh man, we got to put on even the one show, and I'm forgetting who the host was, but it was a Pro Wrestling Weekly show where they went all around the country and they showed highlights from like Portland and Missouri and everywhere else, and it was just a blast. And so I mean, even if you get these little tiny snippets, it was like that magazine would come to life, and now it's like, oh my God, the wrestling world's starting to come together. And then, of course, everything happened with Vince and he swallowed it all up. But still, it was amazing. But, and I still remember all the promos for, Jim Crockett and his Mid-Atlantic would roll around into town. And oh my God, it was amazing. I'm sorry, we're waxing a little poetic here, but that's part of the fun of all this.
Absolutely.
And then the kids that are watching now that are in their 20s, they're going to be telling their kids about the bloodline and Cody Rhodes, and like we talk about Dusty, they're going to talk about Cody.
Yeah.
It's it's just too much.
It's almost, has wrestling really turned the corner now? Are we entering a new golden age for wrestling?
Oh, I think so.
I mean, is it really a possibility here?
Oh, I definitely think so. And you're in a position now where it's become it's back heavily in the mainstream.
Yeah.
And you can say what you want about Vince McMahon, but the one thing that Vince saw that vision of, we've got to get this out of the, the regional area, and, and it's kind of a smoky cigar filled room event, and we've got to make this something bigger. And you have to give him credit for that he had that vision. And, and it started with the MTV thing. If you remember, what actually led to WrestleMania was the Brawl to Settle It All with, Cyndi Lauper, and, you had Wendy Richter and Moolah, which then trickled into Mr. With Roddy Piper hitting Lou Albano, and then that brought Hulk Hogan in and Mr. T, and all of a sudden we have WrestleMania, and off we go.
Yeah.
Off we go. It was, it was visionary. It was.
He truly was. I mean, to have that vision, to be able to see where this needs to go, and not only that, to be able to take it there.
Yeah.
I mean, I think people really thought when he did the first WrestleMania that he was nuts. Who's going to pay to watch this? Who's going to do a pay-per-view to watch this on TV? And that was huge.
And like I said, Vince is obviously in a very bad place right now, but he risked everything. I mean, if you look at some of the stories about leading up to WrestleMania, took out second mortgages and every dime he had. If that didn't work, he was dead in the water. And, I still remember going where I saw that first WrestleMania. It was on closed circuit TV at locations all over the country. There's your promo. But I went to York Suburban High School and in the gym and watched the first WrestleMania, and just kind of went from there. I mean, it was an absolutely incredible undertaking when you think about that, and now where it is today. I mean, geez, so, once Tony Khan gets this deal done, we're going to have two major companies with their stuff up all over the place, and incredible stuff. All right. I think we need to take a break.
Okay.
Let's take a break, because I could do this all day. But of course, once again, when we come back, we've got Gerald Brisco joining us in hour number 2. And we're gonna keep the chit-chatting about other fun stuff with pro wrestling. Like, let's take a little look at Forbidden Door. That's coming up.
Yeah.
Tonight.
A few hours.
Just not long. And Brian Danielson made some comments that I hope it didn't screw up the Owen Hart tournament. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back.
Paid for by government. Did you hear? A secret hoard of 1904 $20 gold Liberty coins have been found. These gorgeous 1904p gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck, and less than 500 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this secret U.S. gold coin discovery a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and you can own a piece of the hoard. When you call, you are guaranteed a 1904 gold Liberty struck at the iconic Philadelphia Mint. With limited availability, you must call now. These 1904 dated gold coins are still in uncirculated condition with brilliant luster. That is 120 years of history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-969-0686. Call now, and you'll receive a free bonus, a $75 value free with every order. Call 1-800-969-0686 now to secure your 1904p $20 gold Liberty coins before they sell out. That's 1-800-969-0686.
Retired or retiring soon? How much money do you need to live comfortably? Retirement Planners of America is here for you. Would you like to have financial peace of mind? Here's how. Step 1. Find out the amount of money you'll need to retire. Step 2. Have a plan to get there. Step 3. Make sure that plan can take advantage of market gains but protect you from market losses. Discover how to do all three with a free consultation at 800-508-6108. That's 800-508-6108.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results.
With Wendy's new $3 English muffin deal, you can get your choice of a sausage or bacon, egg, and cheese English muffin with small seasoned potatoes.
And with all that for just $3, it really is a proper breakfast, wouldn't you say? With a light and fluffy toasted English muffin and crispy seasoned potatoes. Go on, Catherine, give it a go.
Okay,
Jolly good morning.
Ah, close love. Grab a proper breakfast with Wendy's new $3 English muffin deal for a limited time.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Select a request English muffin deal to obtain discount. Not valid for a la carte or combo orders. Single item at regular price. Prices are higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
They say health is wealth, and I could not agree more. That's why if you or somebody in your life is living with everyday aches and pains, I want to tell you about Relief Factor. And I'm telling you, I can feel the difference. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that helps fight pain naturally. Naturally. Now that's a big deal. Developed by doctors. Relief Factor's unique formula of ingredients all work together to help support your body's response to inflammation. Instead of masking pain for a couple of hours, Relief Factor actually helps reduce or even eliminate your pain for good. Whether it's neck, back, joint, or muscle pain, if you're looking to feel better, live better, give Relief Factor a try. In 3 weeks, you will know if it's working because you'll feel it. For instance, I was sent Relief Factor to try, and I've been taking it every single day. I'll tell you what, I feel the difference every day. Go to relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4RELIEF. Save on your first order. Don't let pain tell you how to live. Fight back naturally with Relief Factor. These products and statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
1015 FM KDAWN.
You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
And we are back here on the Mark Hoke Show. 1 second. Okay, there we go. Yeah, best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. Jason Halperin sitting in with me today. And we are looking forward to having Gerald Brisco joining us on the show in hour number 2. As in communication with him right now. So hopefully we'll be all squared up by the time he's ready to roll. But very excited to have him coming on the Mark Hoke Show here in just a little bit. Forbidden Door is tonight.
Yes, it is.
AEW putting their best foot forward. This is usually one of their best pay-per-views. Do some pretty good numbers with this one. And by the way, the numbers did rebound from last week. Pretty interesting.
Thanks, Drake.
I think that was part of it, but they let in, apparently what they're saying is they let in with Black Panther. It was not their normal lead-in, which is usually the Big Bang Theory. And Black Panther did no numbers. Like almost infinite zeros.
Because it's on 6 days a week, probably.
People love that show.
Like the rest of the Marvel movies.
Yeah, and just, yeah. So that normal lead-in, and that's important. I mean, it's funny that our station here, which kind of unprecedented for weekend programming, actually put a betting show on before us so that we'd have a good lead in. Just, we were doing good, obviously doing some pretty great numbers, but they moved a show to help us out to get even better numbers. I mean, that's important stuff.
Absolutely. It's also appreciative too.
Yeah. But so they usually get a good carryover from Big Bang Theory that apparently they did not get from Black Panther. But I do think that concert hurt. I think it did. Plus, it was a holiday too. So,
yeah.
But yeah, so they were back to their normal numbers. Now it's still probably not where they want it, but they were still in the top 2 or 3 shows for Wednesday night. So, what are you going to do?
Yeah, you can't be upset about that. And like we talked about last week, I mean, now with everything being able to be streamed, with everything being able to taped and watched, the numbers are probably lower than what they truly are.
Yeah, and it is such a different industry today. But yeah, so Tony can relax, everybody can relax. The blip's over, great, and now we can get down to actually watching some wrestling tonight. But it was funny that the segments that they said were the big ones, or somewhat, are going to coincide with these couple of these matches tonight. MJF's segment, which was the lead-in segment, and of course he's got his match with Ichiriso tonight. So get ready for MJF to go crazy this evening.
Just a little bit.
Chris Jericho's segment was one of the big ones this week. That guy just gets ratings.
It's he knows how to cut a promo.
He does.
He's been doing it for years. Of course he knows how to do it.
So it's Chris Jericho and Big Bill taking on and with Jeff Cobb. And they are taking on Samoa Joe, Hook, and Shibata. That's gonna be a fun match.
Yeah, I think
don't even need it on pay-per-view, but it's going to be a fun match.
It's definitely going to be an entertaining match. There's no doubt about that.
I wonder if Jeff Cobb is going to do something bad to Big Bill or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. But Jeff Cobb and Samoa Joe, that's some beef.
Yes.
That's some beef. And then we've got the women's match, because that segment apparently, and gee, I wonder why, drew the crowd. Tony Storm is taking on Mina Shirakawa with Mariah May in both their corners. She's just going to be going, I love you both. That's what she's going to do. But that was a huge drawing segment. Like I said, I can't understand.
Yeah.
How is that
shocking.
possible?
I don't know. It's strange.
Oh, we're still guys. We are. We're still guys. But that should be a very interesting match tonight, because I got to say, Shirakawa's been getting a lot of attention. Those promos have been pretty good. Doesn't hurt. Mariah knows her very well too. I mean, obviously they were partners in Japan. So, that's kind of played well together, surprisingly.
Yeah, it has. But when you've been together for a while and you've, like you said, coming from Japan, it's not surprising that they're able to do that and put together a good one.
Yeah, so that should be a great match tonight. And, main event should be pretty exciting too. I know you got Moxley Naito is one you're looking forward to. Danielson Takagi should be a lot of fun. But of course, Zack Sabre and Orange Cassidy. This one's kind of, I wouldn't say getting ignored, but that should be a hell of a match tonight, and a great one for Orange Cassidy. I can't wait to see what he's going to do with Zack Sabre Jr., because this is a step up for him.
On this card, it's definitely one that's going to get overlooked because of all the big names and everything you have on it, but it definitely should be a good one. It's one of those where I wouldn't be surprised if they put on one of the fights of the night.
Yeah, I mean, Zack Sabre Jr., that guy could wrestle a mop and he's good.
Yeah.
So, and Orange has really continued to step up his game, continued to just impress people so much. He's another guy, by the way, that started out his wrestling career out around my area. I didn't know that until I interviewed him, that he wrestled out in Hanover, Pennsylvania. I don't know if you knew that or not, Jason.
Did not know that.
Yeah. So he was. I wish I'd known that, because he was wrestling on the Indies about 15 minutes from my house. Pretty crazy.
Just a small world there.
Yeah, him and Swerve was wrestling in York, PA, living out there. I feel bad for him, because he was making the commute on Route 30, which about Route 30.
Oh yes,
it's
not a fun one.
It's one of the worst roads in the United States of America. God, I haven't been back for a while. I don't even want to know what it's like now. But overall, this should be a pretty entertaining night, as a lot of the wrestling world comes together for Forbidden Door, and I just can't wait to see how this all shakes out. But of course, the main event, Swerve and Ospreay, is just going to be an absolute banger this evening. I cannot wait to see what these two put together. It should be something special. But the question is, who wins, Jason? That's the big thing for me. Who walks out of there with this title?
Yeah,
it's a tough call.
It is a really tough call.
I mean, do you put the belt? I mean, Ospreay's already got the international title. Do you put the belt on Ospreay headed into All In? Or do you leave it with Swerve, whose work has been incredible? I almost feel bad for Swerve. He's in a tough. You're in a tough booking spot there with this one.
I think that if you leave it on Swerve, I think it goes away. I think it goes away at the next one.
Yeah, I don't know. Tony has an embarrassment of riches.
Yeah.
Here it's
a good problem to have
in AEW, and this will be very entertaining to see what happens. Plus, of course, the winner of the Owen Hart tournament is going to get a title shot at All In. So a lot of decisions for Tony Khan to have made here going into this evening. I can't wait. I think it's going to be a nice revitalization after some interesting news for the last couple of weeks for AEW. Let's just sit back and forget all about it and watch some pro wrestling tonight.
Yeah.
Shall we?
There you go.
I think that's the plan. Jason, you watching it, by the way?
I plan on watching this one. Yes.
Oh, we just come over to your house. I'm gonna invite myself.
There you go. Come on in.
Let's do it. Well, I've got a great guy coming into my house here in the KDAWN studios in a little bit because I am so excited. Gerald Brisco is going to be on the show here in a little bit.
That's it. Hey, I think Gerald Brisco's coming on a little later. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Yeah,
I
am. But stick around, everybody. We've got a terrific second hour with one of the great legends of professional wrestling. Plus, we're going to be talking about that WCW final episode and some other goings on. Like, what the heck is going on with Dijak? Are you kidding me? Unreal. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back. Hour number 2 coming up. Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show. Like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show. And visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join the Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.
Dear Truckin' Awesome. What do you think of when someone says tough? Honestly, I think of a Toyota truck. Tundra is one mean mother of a truck with a twin-turbo V6 and incredible going power, and the Tacoma claws through terrain with a taller suspension and lots of creature comforts in the cockpit. Both Toyota trucks are decked out with tons of cool features and tech you'll dig. Check them out at Toyota.com, folks.
Visit your Southern Nevada Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places.
You know, summer is right around the corner, and for most people, that means more activities, more golf, more biking, more of whatever you love to do. But if you're dealing with aches and pains, your more could become less. This is why I'm here to tell you about Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that helps fight pain naturally. For instance, I was sent Relief Factor to try, and I've been taking it every single day. I'll tell you what, I feel the difference every day. You see, instead of masking your pain, Relief Factor's formula is designed to help reduce or even eliminate it. It's 100% drug-free. And it's been a game changer for so many people. So let's get after it this summer. Let's feel good. Let's do more of the things that we love to do. Don't let pain keep you down. Give Relief Factor a try and save on your first order. Go to relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4RELIEF. Help fight pain naturally with Relief Factor. These products and statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
Ready for your next vacation? Not so fast. Before you hit the road, remember these healthy habits to keep yourself and others safe and sanitary. Wash your hands after using the restroom, before eating and after blowing your nose. Sanitize airplane seats and tray tables. Sneeze or cough into a tissue or your elbow. And avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth with unwashed hands. Lastly, make sure you're up to date on all your routine vaccines, including the COVID-19 vaccine. It's also important to get tested when necessary, such as if you develop COVID-19 symptoms before, during, or after travel. If you'll be traveling to visit someone who is at a higher risk of getting very sick from COVID-19, or if you're in a situation with a greater risk of exposure during travel. Pack these tips on your next adventure. And remember, travel safely, Nevadans. This message is sponsored by a CDC grant through the Nevada Department of Health and Human Services, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
Did you know you can stream Fox News Radio on the free Odyssey app? Just download the free Odyssey app and search for Fox News Radio to hear the voices you trust. Brian Kilmeade.
Why are we so scared of Iran thinking that we're at war with them?
Guy Benson.
Get the bleep out of here. It's disgusting.
Jimmy Fela.
Then this administration rolled into town with a checkbook.
Are all on the free Odyssey app. From the news and talk to keep you informed and up to date during election season. Listen to Fox News Radio on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
KMXP HD3 Henderson, K268CS Las Vegas. Always live on the free Odyssey app. 1015 FM KDAWN.
It's spun up into a dangerous storm. I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News. Hurricane Beryl forecast to strengthen into a Category 4 storm as it approaches the southeast Caribbean. Fox Weather's Rick Reichmuth has more.
It's going to stay a major hurricane for the next number of days. Eventually, we think it's probably going to go somewhere across that western Caribbean, maybe towards the Yucatan Peninsula. Can't rule out some sort of an impact across the U.S. The good news is we have plenty of time to watch. We'll tell you there's 2 other storms or disturbances that we're watching for development. That one behind Beryl that's to the right, it's going to move right on its heels, probably also becomes a hurricane. Then we have that one on the left side of your screen. That maybe over the next few days develops as well across parts of that Bay of Campeche, the same spot we've had 2 other disturbances move through.
The storm is headed toward Barbados and the Windward Islands on its current track. President Biden tells donors in New York and New Jersey he is not quitting the race following the presidential debate with former President Trump the other night. Fox's Chanley Painter has details.
President Biden appealing to donors this weekend as concerns persist over his debate performance. As Biden attended fundraisers in New York and New Jersey, calls grew for him to drop out. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution following the New York Times, the paper's editorial board now saying that for the good of the nation, the president must bow out of the presidential race. Friday, the Times said that staying in would be, quote, reckless gamble. Trump, on the other hand, took a break from campaigning Saturday, instead playing golf in Virginia.
The president assured supporters at a rally in Raleigh, North Carolina Friday he can serve a second term. The French are voting in the first round of the country's parliamentary elections called by President Emmanuel Macron. Pre-election polling showing broad support for the National Rally Party, meaning its president, Jordan Bardella, could become the next prime minister of France. America is listening to Fox News.
The world of business moves fast. Stay on top of it with the Fox Business Rundown every Monday and Friday. Fox Business reporters, anchors, and hosts will bring you beneath the stock market speculation and boardroom drama to tell you about the biggest business stories of today. Whether you're on Main Street or Wall Street, Fox Business is invested in you.
Listen to the Fox Business Rundown every Monday and Friday at foxbusinesspodcasts.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
It's time to take the quiz. 5 questions, 5 minutes a day, 5 days a week.
History, pop culture, science, sports, civics. How much do you know? Let's find out.
Who was the first person to walk on the moon?
Jackson or something?
Neil Armstrong.
Take the quiz every weekday at thequiz.fox and then listen to the quiz podcast to find out how you did.
Play, share, and of course, listen to the quiz right now at thequiz.fox.
Afternoons in Vegas are ruled by one radio show. It's the real, raw, and relevant talk found only on The Steve Sanchez Show. 3 to 6 p.m. on KDAWN, 101.5 FM, and on the Odyssey app.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
All right, everybody, welcome back for hour number 2 of the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. And of course, we're also on the Odyssey app worldwide. Download it now, or hobgoblins will come to your house and do bad things to your candy dishes. I don't know why I just picked that, but you know, why not? Just trying to scare everybody, Jason Halperin.
Yeah, I don't know if that really worked though. You know, it's
Okay.
not that Halloween time. So it might not have worked.
I don't know. Maybe a firework will, you know,
Now, if you would have had
chase your dog.
if you would have had Jacob standing behind you, Jacob Fatu standing behind you, it may have been a little scarier.
Okay, so Jacob Fautu is going to come to your house and take
There
your
you go.
phone. All right,
Take your phone.
that'll work. And of course, we're also streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. So hop on that YouTube and subscribe to our channel right now. We would certainly appreciate it. Bringing you the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment, having a blast here. Of course, had Coach Rosie on in the first hour, and I wanted to take the time to introduce to you our very special guest for hour number 2. And really, this guy, one of the legends of professional wrestling, and really has been there for so many of the integral moments and things that have happened behind the scenes as well in the history of this industry. But of course, he's the head of the board for the George Trigos Luthez Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame, and they have their 25th anniversary Hall of Fame induction weekend coming up July 18th through the 20th in Waterloo, Iowa. And if you haven't gotten a ticket yet, and I need to get mine, I really got to get out there and figure out a way to do it. You should too. Shame on you if you haven't, because it is going to be an incredible weekend. I am honored to welcome to the Mark Hoke Show, Gerald Brisco. Gerald, thank you for coming on the Mark Hoke Show. We are thrilled to have you with us, sir.
Well, thank you so much, Mark. We had a couple of false finishes coming on here. All right, at my lake out here. You're talking about that Hurricane Beryl down in the Caribbean down there. Hopefully it stays down that direction, and bless those people that it's headed for down there, because I know how it is living here on the coast of Florida. But hearing that report come out of Las Vegas, I got kind of chuckled, man. But when's the last time you guys get hit by a hurricane?
We actually came close.
Hurricane Helms probably was the last hurricane.
Yeah, when he comes to Vegas, it is quality entertainment. That's for sure. Yeah, but yeah, we're just getting a lot of heat. That's all.
Yeah.
So yeah, that 110 yesterday wasn't a lot of fun.
Ooh. Well, that is dry heat.
Yeah, it is dry. Thank God. Thank God.
Dry heat. I stick her head in the oven. See how hot that is, too. Right?
Exactly. Yeah,
I'm a Florida guy, so I can laugh about that. Well, you guys got humidity, yeah, but you guys are hot.
Yes, it is. It is a little toasty, sir. But yeah, I'll take that over that Florida humidity anytime. I did a lot of traveling down Florida, and yeah, stepping out the door.
I'm just the opposite. I'll take the Florida humidity over that 110, 112 degrees.
Yeah,
go out and step on that asphalt, or try to open up a car door in that heat compared to this heat here.
Well,
we all have our issues, right? I mean, if that's the worst thing that's happened to us is heat during the summertime, get up, come on.
Yep, I hear you. Well, Gerald, first, before we get rolling into everything with you, I did want to ask you real quick. Of course, Sika passed away, and I wanted to give you a chance to talk about him real quick and your memories of Sika.
Well, Sika and I and his brother, my brother, go way, way back. Matter of fact, in the early 70s, when I first got into the wrestling business, I made a trip to Australia, and as part of the deal, Jim Barnett always traded talent with New Zealand. So I got to go over to New Zealand on a couple of shows over there, and that's when I first met him. I was still a rookie, and he didn't have that big old head of hair that he had back then, or quite the size. And then the next time I run into him, Jack and I were wrestling in Puerto Rico. Jack, my brother, and I were wrestling in Puerto Rico. And all of a sudden, we're in the ring. I posted it the other night on Twitter or X, whatever the hell it is now. And so happened to hear this commotion, see all these people scattered and running for their lives. And I look out there and across where the heels come in, and I see these two huge monsters with hair out there here, those big old froze, and they look like 400-pounders from where I was standing. As those cold chills were running down the back of my spine, wondering my question of why I got into professional wrestling. I looked over at Brother Jack, and he kind of had that same puzzled look on his face. And Jack could go, I said, Jack, what are we going to do? And he looked at me and said, brother, anything they want to do. So we quickly adapted our game plan. And that's the mark of a true professional, when you can look at your opponent and quickly adapt to your game plan about just whatever you guys want to do. We're here for you. But it turned out we had one heck of a match, fighting all over places. They scared the heck out of those Puerto Rican fans, and they scared the heck out of us two Hokie boys too. But we went on and became close friends with them. We had them in Florida, Georgia, worked with them all over the country, all Mexico, all over the world. So I was really proud to be their friends. And Sika is such a wonderful guy. I mean, no matter where I'd run into him, it was always a brother, how you doing, brother? And give you a big hug. And then Wes, my son, he developed a close relationship with him, and that's all Sika. Every time he'd say, "Hey, your boy, he looks great, man." So he became family. That's how it is in our business. There, you compete against these guys worldwide. You gain respect for them, and then the next thing you know, you're family with them. And I had no qualms about God saying I was a proud brother of Sika and Alpha.
Oh, that's great to hear. And I've always found it interesting. With the bloodline situation going on in WWE, we're seeing so much about family in pro wrestling, and of course, you and your brother Jack, uh, complete legends, and travel the world together and did so much. What is the mystique about being able to work with family, in obviously out in front of people, but also behind the scenes? How great is that to be able to have that time to be able to spend it with family as opposed to just being on your own?
Well, it's the best thing in the world. I can't imagine me going through my the business all those years without Jack by my side, and as not only as a brother, but as a fellow competitor, somebody that's been in those situations that I was trying to get into. Jack, being 5 years older than me, he had a little bit more experience than I did. So when I would run into issues, run into problems, and especially the backstage politics as a young man, trying to navigate them and having somebody who was, when I was breaking in, Jack was really on that rocket ship to stardom. He was catching on. He went down to Dallas, and a couple of guys saw him down there, referred him to Eddie Graham. Eddie Graham flew him out to Florida, tried him out, took a look at him, signed him immediately, and strapped that rocket ship on him. But Jack had already gone through those political things. And you got to consider the '60s, late '60s, coming out of college into the world of professional wrestling. There wasn't a lot of college wrestlers out at that time, not like there is now. Not and I because of Jim Ross and I made it just a quest for us to go out and recruit these college kids. But it wasn't like that when we were starting. So there's always that animosity, college kid, shooter boy, wrestler, all that stuff. And, you get upset, you get your little, concerned. Hey, well, I'm going to have to do something. So a quick phone call to my brother would help me solve those problems right away. So it was invaluable having family, not only in the corner, but on that telephone when I needed to call to navigate some political situation that developed in that territory or something.
That's amazing. And and it was funny that when I was getting ready for this interview, when I started looking back over your career, I had almost forgotten just how intertwined you have been from back when you started wrestling, until you had completely stepped away. How intertwined you are with so many incredible moments and things that have happened over the years in pro wrestling. I mean, from out in front of the camera to everything that happened in Georgia and behind the scenes at WWE, and even when you won the hardcore championship and everything else, just all that stuff that you were in the middle of all this. Did you ever imagine when you got started that all these crazy things were going to happen to you, and just how much in the middle you were going to be of this? It's absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you for that. But hearing some of these guys on a podcast, sometimes how history changes. I was there. I know I was there, but sometimes I start questioning myself if I was legitimately even there in these situations that I'm supposed to be taking credit for, because it seemed like everybody else did what I was supposed to have done. So I quit taking credit for anything anymore, because I don't want to lie and say, well, maybe I was just a figment of my imagination. Maybe I didn't see Hulk Hogan when he was starting out in this business. Maybe I wasn't in Montreal when all that stuff happened. Maybe I wasn't backstage when these fights. I don't know. I sometimes I doubt myself. But you know what? To answer your question, I'm a small town boy, Bowlegs, Oklahoma, Blackwell, Oklahoma. Population so small that don't even register. Now they're on the map at least, but back in my day they weren't even on the maps. But to go where I've gone, to be involved in the situations that I've been involved in, sometimes I gotta slap myself up the side of the head and say, yeah, you really were there. And I'm amazed. I'm blessed to have being able to get in that position, and why, sometimes just a stroke of the pen kind of put me in that position, and gaining the confidence of promoters. And that's where this business is really really evolved from. And when we were starting out, you had to get that confidence. You don't win anything, but what you win when you get a belt, that proves that you won the confidence of the promoter and of the fans. And once you win that confidence of the promoter, word starts to spread around to other promoters. Hey, this guy's a business guy. You could draw money with him and you do business with it. So, and having that, I think that boiled down to my mom and my upbringing. My mom was a single mom, raised 6 of us, and taught us at an early age what was right and what was wrong. And most of all, always speak up if you think you're right. And that's something I never had an issue with speaking up.
Jason, do you have a question for Gerald Brisco?
Gerald, the one thing I just really want to know, what was it like, traveling and having to be on the road so much? How did that affect your personal life? I know you were out there, a lot of times with your brother and stuff, but how did you handle that?
Jack wasn't, like I said, we grew up, my mom, a single parent with my mom. So Jack was always that authority figure. I mean, even when I was a kid in elementary school, Jack was the one that kicked my butt if I didn't do my homework. Jack was the one that, funny stories that's in Jack's book. People know I'm not a very good speller, and that's being kind when I say not very good. I'm a horrible speller. But my mom wouldn't let me go to bed until I learned all my spelling words. So Jack would get frustrated with me. We had to share a bedroom because we had a small house. So Jack would hide outside the living room window. My mom asked me how to spell a word, and I backed my big butt up next to that window, and Jack would be whispering the words to me, how to spell the words to me, so we could both go to bed. So, so it was kind of like that all through my career. I kind of relied on him to help me spell my way through the business there. But, being on the road, as much as we were on the road back in those days, I waited and waited and waited. My wife had patience with me, and my girlfriend at the time, it ended up my wife, because we knew it'd be hard to raise a family out on the road. So we kind of waited late to have our kids and to get married and all that stuff. And it worked out. I'm still married to the same wonderful lady, Barbara, for the last 44 years. So
wow,
I'm thrilled about that.
That's great.
That is incredible. Well, of course, one of the main reasons we wanted to make sure we got you on the show today is because of the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. Yeah. And, of course, a lot of people talk about the WWE Hall of Fame, but the George Tragos Luthez Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame in Waterloo, Iowa is one that I think people sometimes overlook a little bit, but they shouldn't, because you've got the 25th anniversary induction ceremonies coming up. And, this was at the start was designed to recognize a lot of the guys that had done stuff on the amateur side of things, and has evolved over time, and you have different awards for different categories. But tell everybody a little bit about the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame in Waterloo, Iowa, how that started, and how it's evolved over the years.
Well, a good friend of mine, Mike Chapman, one of the great wrestling historians, he wrote the Dan Gable's book, the Two Dans, about Danny Hodge and Danny Gable. And originally it was supposed to be about the 3 Dans, and the third Dan was going to be who? Dan Severn, because Dan was such a hot shot in college wrestling. They ended up getting beat as the last senior year. So Mike changed it to the 2 Dan, Danny Hodge and Dan Gable, of course. So Mike was a really close friend. Mike Ben and I were really close friends with Coach Gable. And the only amateur wrestling museum in the entire United States was located in Stillwater, Oklahoma, where Jack and I went to school at Oklahoma State University. So Mike wanted Iowa to have something equal. So he was a huge pro wrestling fan. He was instrumental in getting in Humboldt, Iowa, getting that statue of Frank Gotch erected there. Did the fundraisers, and he did so much for. So when he opened the museum, he opened it. Okay, there's going to be a true museum honoring wrestling, and so he, of course, the main focus with Dan Gable was the Dan Gable Museum, Dan Gable International Museum, but he also put a pro wing in there. And who better at the time? We're talking 25 years ago. The great, incomparable Lou Thez and George Tregus, who was Lou's trainer. That's how Tregus got involved. And Tregus' son now is an international trader, importer, exporter out in the LA area, and still lends his support both financially and verbally and mentally to the museum there. So Mike had the museum, and as things go, through the years, there became some political issues sprout up. So Mike resigned his post. So the Pro Wrestling Museum, after Mike resigned, wow, I mean, the pro wrestling part of it started sliding. We went from being the biggest event, and it was in Newton, Iowa, biggest event of the year for the museum, down to just a 3-day day, down to just one day where the guys basically came in and got their award. So it was dying both financially and morally. It was dying because there was nothing there to do. So Mike was asked to resign because the museum was going downhill. So when he resigned, the Stillwater chapter of the National Wrestling Hall of Fame, which is strictly amateur wrestling at the Stillwater there, the director is an Oklahoma State guy like I am and Jack is, and he called me and he said, "Hey, Brisco, we need your help. We need your help at the Waterloo, Iowa Museum." And I said, "Well, the word's on the street that you're going to kill the thing in a couple of years. I don't want to go out there and then be the one that, that it dies, the leadership that it dies underneath. And so unless I get your word that we're going to be there as long as that museum's in existence, then I don't want any part of it. I don't want to be the one that killed the Dan Gable Museum. Had Dan Gable come look at me.
That'd be bad.
Yeah, it'd be bad for all of us." And so he said, "Brisco, I give you my word as a cowboy. As long as I'm in charge of this museum, which I'm going to be here as long as I live, then you're going to be in charge of that museum up there, the wing of the George Tregus Lou Thez wing." And there's several. There's a Greco wing, there's freestyle wing, folk style wing, and of course there's professional. He said, I said, "Well, I want to take it back where it's a 3-day event. I'm not going to do a 1-day event." He said, "It's yours. You do what you want to do with it. Just keep it under budget." Key word, right? Keep it under budget.
Right.
We had no budget, so all of our budget comes from donors and volunteers and everything. So I accepted the challenge, and man, that was about 12 years ago, and now we're coming up on our 25th. And the last few years since COVID, we set record after record, and this year we're already on pace to shatter last year's record turnout. So being the 25th, plus we just got a star-studded cast with Arn Anderson, Tony Schiavone, the great Tony Gurria, Dr. Tom Pritchard as trainer, Greg Gagne. We got them from all the old territory, the AWA, NWA, and all the other organization. We got award winners from all those guys to kind of honor and celebrate the 25th year.
Oh, it sounds like it's going to be an awesome celebration for 3 days out there. I've got to get out there.
You got to get out there and talk about it. I come out to Vegas all the time for that Cauliflower Alley thing that they put on out there, and Brian Blair does a great job. Him and his staff does a great job out there. So if I can get out to Vegas, I know Waterloo ain't no Las Vegas, but it's right there by the Field of Dreams. If you're a baseball fan, if you're a rock and roll fan, it's not too far from where the great Buddy Holly, the Big Bopper, and all those guys' airplane went down. They got a site and a monument there at the last concert that they played there. There's a lot to do in Waterloo. Plus, the museum will occupy your day for at least 2 days of the 3 days you're out there.
Yeah. Plus, hopefully we're getting some more Penn State guys in there, by the way.
Well, I'm an open Penn State guy. I just come out and try to learn something from my Cowboys out there. They're trying to share that knowledge. Everybody's on me. Well, you got Penn State, Oklahoma State's going to be Penn State. Let's get something real straight here. David Taylor, with great young man, was coached by Kel Sanderson, right? One of the greatest all-time wrestlers. You know who Kel Sanderson was coached by?
Yeah, I'm waiting. Go ahead,
Well,
hit us with
Coach Bobby Douglas, who was a teammate of Jack and my freshman coach at Oklahoma State University. So that makes Dave Taylor Oklahoma State Cowboy second generation or whatever the hell you want to say. So.
All right, Gerald. Yeah, I'm from PA, so yeah.
Okay,
I know.
Well, what a job Kel has done out there. But it's that Oklahoma State coaching that Kel had his background. So.
All right. Well, I'll give you a few points for that. I'll give you a few. We'll give you a near fall.
Thank you. How many points near fall now? You know, there's 2, 3, and 4 near fall.
I can only give you.
Four. You gotta give me a 4 count. So.
I'm only giving you a 3. I can only give you 3.
I'll take 3. That along with 3-point takedown, my head 6-0 already. So.
Oh man, that means I'm done. There's no way I'm coming back from that. Nope. But it is going to be a great time. So, Gerald, where can everybody get tickets and information about coming out?
On Twitter, Facebook, TNT, HOF, TNT Hall of Fame. You go on there. Our good man, Troy Peterson and Chad Olson and Becca Roper out at the museum along with Coach Miller. Coach Miller, he's a lot like he's the head of the amateur side of the museum and the museum in general, but he's like a Gable. In Division II, he won like 11 straight NCAA championships with his team there. Man, hey, what a great coach and what a motivator. And it come out on that first night, that Thursday night, you get to hear Coach Gable. People pay thousands and thousands of dollars to hear Coach Gable speak. And to hear his passion and his speech that he gives every year toward professional wrestling. And everybody, well, Gable's he's one of the amateur wrestlers. He's a great coach, all that. Pro wrestling, what's it mean? You find out real quick where the pro wrestling stands with Coach Gable right away. He's involved the entire weekend. He's there. He's accessible. Fans love him. He loves our fans. He's made great dear friend with a lot of our attendees out there. And he's just like me and anybody else that's out there. He's accessible. And he loved to talk pro wrestling and amateur wrestling and to talk between the two of them. I tell you where Coach Gable has really, really now become bigger and bigger fans of pro wrestling, and because of the women's wrestling. Women's wrestling in college is now starting to balloon kind of like it did, when they had the change of guard with the WWE divas into the ladies wrestling. It's ballooning, and Coach Gable has taken notice of that. And he's preaching to these amateur coaches to watch WWE, how they're handling their women, how the women now are getting equal billing, how they're main event in WrestleMania and all this stuff. And Gable's using that same floor plan, same model when he's out preaching to these coaches to start women's program in the universities in there, that there's opportunities for these young ladies, not only in professional, but in college. If I had daughters right now, I'd have them on the map because of scholarship opportunities in the next few years with more and more Division I programs starting, ladies wrestling and women's wrestling, is going to be insane for these young girls at that early age that are starting now. So, folks, get your young ladies in amateur wrestling if you want them to get a scholarship.
There you go. And if I get a chance to get out there, I'll have to say hi to Backlund too, because he and Brad Ryan, I went to North Dakota State. And Bucky Maughan, the coach, and learned under him a little bit. And so I'll have to do a little bison talk with those guys. So
there you go.
Well, Gerald, I know you got to get rolling, but I want to thank you so much. Honored to talk to you, and been a fan of both you and your brother for a long time. And this was certainly a thrill for me to have you come on the Mark Hoke Show. Jason, I appreciate it. And hopefully we'll get to see you out in Waterloo. It's going to be a great time, and everybody's got to go get their tickets and come out. It's going to be a blast.
Well, I appreciate being on here. It's a thrill for me to come on and talk about the thing I'm most passionate about, and that's the Hall of Fame out there. Go on to Twitter and Facebook, George Tragus and Thez TNT Hall of Fame, and there's links to tie you in, and it's really unique. Fantastic right now. If you join our lifetime membership, which it's a cheap $285, $75, whatever it is, you get a T-shirt with the George Tragus Luthez Hall of Fame logo on it, and on the back of it, it has all of our lifetime members' names on the T-shirts. There's Sergeant Slaughter on there, JBL's on there. And we can't get out of here without talking about my podcast.
Oh,
Either
yeah, I'm
trying to
sorry.
slip out of here without talking about my podcast. But get that T-shirt. Go ahead and make your donation at 401c, which means it's tax deductible. Everything, all the donations are tax deductible. So get on there and get that, and most of all, tune into YouTube and wherever you get your podcast for Stories with Brisco and Bradshaw. Learn a little bit about the history of our business. We've had some of the greatest historians in the world recently on. We had Greg Oliver on talking about Toronto wrestling. We had Mike Mooneyham talking about Mid-Atlantic wrestling. We had Dr. Mike Lano talking about the West Coast wrestling not long ago. We had Al Gatz talking about Oklahoma wrestling. We've had some Texas boys talking about old Texas wrestling. So we cover it all. So, Stories with Brisco and Bradshaw on YouTube and then where you get your podcasts.
There you go. Well, Gerald, thank you so much for the time. We do appreciate it, and good luck with everything. And we will hopefully, I'd love to do this again soon, and we'll talk some more. Okay.
I'd love to be on and talk some more. I like to talk football, I like talking sports, but I love talking wrestling. So I appreciate you guys' time. And if I don't see you now, we're going to be tapping like you mean it when I do see you.
Fair enough. Thank you, sir. We do appreciate it. There you go, everybody. Gerald Brisco joining us on the Mark Hoke Show. What a thrill and an honor to have Gerald Brisco on the show. That was awesome.
Yes, that was absolutely awesome.
Man. And by the way, we are way behind, so we got to get to a commercial break. I kind of knew that was coming, so stick around, everybody. We got a whole lot more on the Mark Hoke Show coming up. We got to talk a little WCW. The last episode of Who Killed WCW aired, so we got to discuss that. And what else did I have planned? I forgot what else we were going to talk about.
I don't know. It was kind of got lost in the shuffle on Gerald's interview there.
Yeah. I could just talk to Gerald all day. I wish you could have stayed for the whole show.
Exactly.
But what a thrill.
Next time.
Oh, man. We'll be right back.
That's the sound of steak searing in its juices on your new pellet grill. You heard that right. The Weber Searwood Pellet Grill can smoke low and slow at 180 degrees all the way to a high heat sear at 600. With the Weber Searwood, you can cook on the direct flame over the full grate sear zone. You'll hear the gasp of amazement from friends and family when you serve the food. Cooking with the Weber Searwood Pellet Grill just sounds delicious and tastes even better.
Imagine having all the money you need for retirement, all the income, every month, guaranteed. That's Secure Future Investor, an indexed annuity tied to growth in the stock market, but without any risk of loss ever. It's guaranteed money for life income, no matter how long you live. Call 888-509-2228. 888-509-2228. Sponsored by GP Agency, Inc., Raleigh, North Carolina. Licensed in all states. Performance may vary. Consult with your financial professional before making an investment decision.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-761-0000. 800-761-0000. 800-761-0000.
You're pregnant, and no matter what you do, no matter what you try, you can't stop using alcohol, drugs, or tobacco. But no matter how lost you are, how far along you are, it's not too late. There's always hope, and there are many safe places that can help you stop using. In Nevada, pregnant women are given the highest priority for substance use treatment. Low-cost treatment options may be available so you and your baby can get healthy now. If you or someone you love is pregnant or thinking about getting pregnant and using alcohol, drugs, or tobacco, visit SoberMomsHealthyBabies.org. or call 211 to find help today. SoberMomsHealthyBabies.org also has resources for healthcare providers, friends, and family. If you want to help someone who's pregnant and using, visit SoberMomsHealthyBabies.org or call 211 today. Sponsored by the Nevada Division of Public and Behavioral Health and in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
1015 FM KDAWN.
This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
And we return to the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 1015 FM. It is the talk of Las Vegas, and wow. Jason Halperin sitting in with me today. I got to tell you, I never thought when I started doing this show that I would be getting to talk to some of these guys. And ladies, of course, too. But what a thrill. That was just amazing.
Yeah, that was absolutely amazing. And it's really great because, as I was saying during the break is, most people don't really remember Gerald Brisco for anything other than being one of the, the Stooges.
Yeah.
And there was so much more to him. There is so much more to him in the wrestling industry. And it's great to have a gentleman on like that.
Yeah, I mean, he was such a massive influence. I mean, if you start working backwards, he was such a massive influence backstage, with him and Pat Patterson. I mean, they weren't just two guys that were hanging around. I mean, they were putting together some of the greatest matches of all time. They were, mentors to so many of the wrestlers that you saw in the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
I mean, Gerald and Jack did so many incredible things in their career. It is kind of crazy that Gerald was at, when you think about the Brisco and Funk rivalries, Gerald was the only one that didn't win the world championship. He was the world junior heavyweight champion. And they, of course, he and Jack won the world tag team titles a bunch of times. And in one of the great rivalries, by the way. I mean, they stepped in after, if you remember back when, Sergeant Slaughter and now I'm gonna blow that, but they were. Let me just pull it real fast before I screw it up because I don't want to say the wrong thing. But back in that was Starrcade, Steamboat and Youngblood. If you remember when they were the world tag team champions, they had that feud with Sarge, and the headline Starrcade. When they had that big sell out in Greensboro, and then the Briscoes were the next ones in line, they turned heel.
Mm-hmm.
So they duked it out with Steamboat and Youngblood. And that was a huge, huge feud that was selling buildings out, as the tag team champions. And, they were repeatedly tag team champs all over the world. And, Gerald had a lot of interesting teammates too. I was kind of looking this up real quick that he had teamed. Let's see, where was it? And I had an interesting list. Like in Georgia, they won the Georgia Tag Team Championship. He did 5 times, twice with Jack. But he also teamed with Backlund, Ole Anderson, and Rocky Johnson. I didn't realize. I remember the Rocky Johnson team, but I didn't remember the other ones. That was interesting.
It's a list.
But, I mean, he was everywhere. And, and just an unbelievable career, of course, was in the middle of the Montreal screw job.
Yeah.
Just an amazing career for that guy. And, we, very honored to have him on. So thank you to Gerald Brisco. Wow. Just so cool. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to mark out, but it's hard. It is so hard. Anyway. So yeah, I guess we'll switch gears a little bit here. I do want to talk about that WCW episode. Episode 4 of Who Killed WCW aired. So all the evidence is in according to that episode. Jason Halperin, dun dun dun. Who killed WCW? Who did it?
Oh man, you know what? it's so tough to pin down one specific thing that killed it. I mean, there's so many things that did it. Look, at the end of the day, I really don't think that. I think it was the corporation. I think it was everything behind the scenes. It wasn't WCW itself. It was parent company. It was. I don't think they really wanted them. I think they really didn't. You had the Time Warner buyout of it. It was the company of Turner at that point, and it just wasn't a direction they wanted to go.
I think that was a fair amount of it too. And I'm trying not to be too influenced by just the TV show because there's a lot. And Eric Bischoff came off looking pretty good in this series.
Yeah.
And we were talking to Coach Rosie about it earlier in the show. That Eric, I think, in a lot of ways doesn't get his due, but he did make some mistakes. I don't think you can sit there and say that Eric Bischoff's hands are clean on the whole thing, but they're not there without him.
Oh, absolutely not.
There's no way they're there without him. I agree with you in that the guys at Turner that he had to work with, man, if they could have turned the lights out, they would have done it in a heartbeat.
And they would have done it a lot sooner.
Absolutely.
It just wasn't what they wanted.
No, they were snotty.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, they were snotty. But the problem was, first you had a guy who believed in it, and the guy was the boss. But the other problem that they couldn't control was they were drawing huge numbers.
Yeah.
What are you going to do when this is your top show? It's like it's like you're sitting there and it's like if your kid is doing a math problem the wrong, quote unquote, wrong way, right? Or they're doing something a way that you don't think they should do it, but they get to the point where the problem's solved the way they did it, but it wasn't the way you wanted it done. It's like, oh,
well,
Dad, but
you got there, but it wasn't the way I wanted to do it, the way you should do it. But you got there. Okay.
And you just cringe. These guys, it's fascinating when and I'll tell you, some of those executives like Brad Siegel just came off looking so smarmy on that show. They really did. And they kind of deserved it. They did.
Oh, absolutely.
But I mean, there were some egos back there, and there were some, and I think Eric made some contract mistakes, and they made some booking mistakes. I don't think there was any question about that. And, and Vince Russo, I get what Vince Russo was trying to do. I understand it. But the execution, I couldn't watch. I'll be honest with you. There were a lot of times on there where I'd be like, okay, I'm going to go watch Raw for a while. We got another crazy, weird skit going on, and I just can't take it.
Yeah.
I guess because as a wrestling purist, I was like, this is not for me. So yeah, it was weird, but they had their moments too. The match where Bret Hart had the fast count that never happened. The David Arquette, the bash at the beach. I mean, there were mistakes that got made, and in booking wise that hurt them a lot. The overbooking of the NWO.
Yeah.
You can't say that it totally wasn't the wrestling, but everybody makes booking mistakes.
Exactly.
Right?
Those happen in every single company. Those are going to happen.
Yeah. No, the David Arquette one was horrendous.
Yeah. Well, as we discussed on that one already, that was the Shark Tank right there. That was jumping the Shark Tank on that one.
Just so bad. And it's funny. And I think one person that I wish I would have heard more from DDP. I got to reach out to him. I would love to talk to Diamond Dallas Page about this more individually, because at the end of that show he dropped the FU bomb on one of the execs, and just some of the things that he said, he was very direct about what he thought. And you always felt like Page had his ego under control. So I mean, if I had to pick one performer to really get an opinion about all of it, he's probably the guy I'd really want to talk to.
He was one of those guys. He'd been there for forever, and he probably has a lot of insight on this.
Yeah, I mean, he was very thankful for getting in the position he was. It wasn't expected to happen, and we've had Booker T on the show a few times, and I've interviewed him on SportsX Radio too, and I was a little surprised about a couple of the comments Book made in there. just he flat out threw it at the feet of Eric Bischoff on the last show. I would love to talk to some of the black wrestlers that were in WCW, and because he thought that he would never win the world title because he was black, and I'm curious about that. If why he felt that way, if it was just a general, that's sign of the times or whatever. But I mean, this was the late 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, was it because of a certain person or people, or just the way he grew up, or what? Why would he feel that way? Because he had an ally in Vince Russo there.
Absolutely.
Vince Russo was like, I want to put the belt on this guy. So what was it? There was a lot of interesting little tidbits in that whole show that you could make a whole little show out of if you tore the thing apart. So yeah, it opened some eyes, I think. It did.
Yeah, it definitely did. It was not some of the stuff was shocking, some of it was not.
Yeah.
That kind of comes out in it.
Yeah, some of it we knew.
Yeah, some of it was already known, and it was okay. But I think the series in itself was better than I was expecting. More interesting than I expected, to be honest with you. You've seen so much stuff written and so much done on the demise of WCW, but this one is, something coming from The Rock on this one. Didn't think it was going to be as good as it was.
Yeah, there were some factual things. If you listen to Meltzer and Alvarez, that there was some stuff that was just off.
Yeah,
but that we'll write the memoriam on this thing as it goes along. But it was I will lay it at the feet of the execs overall. So
absolutely, that's I said, that's where I put it. I put that one on corporate.
I put the gun in their hands, and with that, I'm also going to pull the trigger and get us into our next commercial break before we run out of time. Jason Halperin and Mark Hoke here on the Mark Hoke Show, the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. What a great show today, and we're going to wrap it up when we come back, so stick around. Little news and notes around the pro wrestling world as we get ready for Forbidden Door tonight. Should be an awesome card, so pick that up on pay-per-view. Help out AEW. We'll be right back.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
With Wendy's new $3 English muffin deal, you can get your choice of a sausage or bacon, egg, and cheese English muffin with small seasoned potatoes.
And with all that for just $3, it really is a proper breakfast, wouldn't you say? Huh? With a light and fluffy toasted English muffin and crispy seasoned potatoes. Go on, Catherine, give it a go.
Okay. Jolly good morning.
Ah, close love. Grab a proper breakfast with Wendy's new $3 English muffin deal for a limited time.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Select a request English muffin deal to obtain discount. Not valid for a la carte or combo orders. Single item at regular price. Prices are higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
They say health is wealth, and I could not agree more. That's why if you or somebody in your life is living with everyday aches and pains, I want to tell you about Relief Factor. And I'm telling you, I can feel the difference. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that helps fight pain naturally. Naturally. Now that's a big deal. Developed by doctors. Relief Factor's unique formula of ingredients all work together to help support your body's response to inflammation. Instead of masking pain for a couple of hours, Relief Factor actually helps reduce or even eliminate your pain for good. Whether it's neck, back, joint, or muscle pain, if you're looking to feel better, live better, give Relief Factor a try. In 3 weeks, you will know if it's working because you'll feel it. For instance, I was sent Relief Factor to try, and I've been taking it every single day. I'll tell you what, I feel the difference every day. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Save on your first order. Don't let pain tell you how to live. Fight back naturally with Relief Factor. These products and statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
Hey there, I'm Healthy Hank, your health hero, here to give you little habits for healthy travels.
Whether you're jet setting across the globe or hitting the road for a spontaneous adventure, it's crucial to prioritize health safety every step of the way. Picture this. You're on a road trip making a quick pit stop at a gas station. Before you dive into those irresistible gas station snacks, remember to wash your hands after using the pump. Those pumps can be a breeding ground for germs. And speaking of germs, if you find yourself in a sneezing or coughing fit, be sure to cover up and then disinfect any surfaces you may have touched. We're all in this together, so let's keep those contagious villains at bay. Remember, folks, a simple act like covering your cough or sneeze into your elbow or a tissue can make a world of difference. And if you're feeling a supervillain brewing inside you, do us all a favor and stay home. Together, we can ensure a safe and healthy journey for everyone. Stay safe, and let's conquer those germs together. This message is sponsored by a CDC grant through the Nevada Department of Health and Human Services, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
1015 FM KDAWN.
You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
And we return for the final segment of the Mark Hoke Show this week here on KDAWN 1015 FM. And just to remind everybody, this will be up on YouTube and you can subscribe. And of course, we're putting all the clips from the show up there as well. So you can check that out. And, you just want to catch little pieces and so on, relive the show. Feel free. Of course, podcasts available on markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets as well. And there's a million ways to watch the show. So do it, you doofuses. You pencil neck geeks. There we go. We'll throw it back.
There you go. Get an old one in there.
Yeah. But Jason Halperin, I'm Mark Hoke. Thanks for being with us. Hey, by the way, I don't know. Can I talk about a TNA spoiler real quick just to prove a point?
Sure,
Jason?
why not? Why not?
So they had their set of TV tapings in Philadelphia. And they're doing a 6-way match for the world title coming up at Slammiversary. And guess what happened at the contract signing?
What's that?
Joe Hendry put Moose through a table. Just saying.
Just a little bit.
Just saying.
Could be a preview.
I don't know. It's Moose, Josh Alexander, Steve Macklin, Nick Nemeth, Frankie Kazarian, and Joe Hendry for the TNA title. Just throwing it out there. And I don't know if you also saw that at a NASCAR race that one of the commentators did a Joe Hendry spoof, like say his name and he appears and used the racer's name in it. There was also a reference on a sign at the Stanley Cup too.
He's big right now.
He's huge.
You got to cash in on while you can.
He's huge. Also some news this week. I don't know if you saw what happened, but WWE has not re-signed Dijak. They're nuts.
Yeah,
he's going straight to AEW. Do not pass go. Do not collect the.
That's an absolute crazy thing right there. I'm surprised by that one that they did not bring him back.
They claimed he was on a main roster contract, and I'm like, oh man, the dude is. I've been watching that guy since Ring of Honor. That guy is a beast.
They never really used him right in WWE. They just didn't.
Well, Retribution was a joke.
Yeah.
And then when they finally had a good match, really good match with him again on NXT, of course, the feud with Keith Lee, that was awesome.
That was awesome. That was the best thing they did with him was that feud with Keith Lee.
Well, Keith Lee's kind of hanging out, not doing a whole lot in AEW right now.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Could be a good chance to revive it.
Yeah, give me some Dijak back.
Yes.
And let's see what else we got going on here. Pulling my news and notes while somebody is trying to call the station. Not taking phone calls, kids. Sorry.
Are we in trouble?
No,
Did we do something wrong?
No, we're not doing anything wrong. Give me a second here. There we go. That was helpful.
There you go.
No, not as helpful as it needed to be. Jason, talk for 5 seconds for me. Real quick, Jason, talk.
I am talking. Well, you know what? Hey, the one thing we didn't do is we didn't go over and look at any of the comments today. I do see Bionic Scoop is in there. Scoop.
Yeah, Scoop.
We didn't want to leave you hanging there.
I'm sorry, buddy. Yeah, saying Hangman returns to cost Ospreay and screw Swerve. Protects them both and gives Get a Hangman Ospreay program. All right, I'm down with that.
That's possible.
I'm down with that. That sounds like a plan. Kale Braxton is also leaving WWE, so we say goodbye to her. And Money in the Bank. We're down to one more spot in the men's match. And right now, that field is for the guys. It's Jey Uso, Carmelo Hayes, Andrade, Chad Gable's in LA Knight. And the winner of the Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, and Ilya Dragunov match.
Gee, it looks like your guy has a chance.
He has a
to
chance.
Possibly get in.
He has a chance. Look out.
He has a chance.
Oh, my God. Put Drew McIntyre. Give him the case. Do it. Come on, WWE.
It's a great spin. It's a great spin.
Oh. We'll see what happens in this qualifier match on Monday. I can't wait. Well, hey, we had an awesome show today. Jason, thank you for sitting in. I do appreciate it.
Thanks for having me again.
Want to thank Coach Rosie, Josh Rosenbaum, for joining us from ad-free shows. Make sure you check them out. And, of course, Gerald Brisco joining us here as well. What an honor to have him on the show. And, of course, subscribe to us on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show. And, of course, Facebook, The Mark Hoke Show, markhokeshow.com, Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, or X. We're everywhere, guys. And we want to thank you for making us the number one live show on the station and, the best in Las Vegas. We'll see you next week. Have a great time. Enjoy Forbidden Door. We'll see you next show. Enjoy your afternoon in Las Vegas. Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show. Like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show. And visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join The Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.